You're talking about incorporating. The first thing that you want to do is switch from a guy who does your taxes to getting a CPA.
I had a lot of winners and I've had a few losers now. And I learned from the losers what I'll never do again. You pay for what you get and you need experts.
Our next guest on Bourbon Briefs definitely needs no introduction. I've known the guy for about 10 years. And to say that he's one of the most impressive individuals I've ever met is to say nothing at all. I know that there's a phrase that somebody can sell snow in Alaska and sand in the desert, but until you actually meet someone like that, you really don't know who that person is. Well, the guy that we're about to have on our show is that man. So without any further ado, Lance Bachmann.
Whew, thank you guys for having me. After that introduction, I better start selling you guys some law firms.
Well, if anybody can do it, that'll be you, my friend. Welcome to the show. We're honored to have you here. And I'm going to second what Eric said, that he's probably one of the best entrepreneurs that I've met, hands down. We're happy to have him on our show to talk a little bit about what it means to be an entrepreneur and, the legal and obstacles that you overcome, things that you don't know and things that you learn over, throughout your history. Can you tell us how you started with One SEO?
First of all, thank you guys both for having me. And I do consider you both my friends. I believe you guys are the best business lawyers out there, and that's why I use you. Obviously, Lawrence, you saved my ass more times than probably anybody else I deal with on a daily basis. So that's just a fact. So I started One SEO 14 years ago with my sister, Jolynn. I left yellowpages.com, being the vice president of AT&T. And we've grown, and we're one of the number one digital agencies in the country. We do SEO, PPC, web design, 100 plus employees out on my floor right now. We love it. I mean, I love digital marketing. I love One SEO. I love everything about it. And, it's been a great ride. I've been very lucky. I'm a very lucky person. How
many people were you when you guys started One SEO?
Me, Jolynn, Dave DiPaolo, Jackie Eldridge, 4 of us started, and I owe so much to Jackie and Dave. They believed in me and Jolynn, and Dave has his own agency and he's doing incredible, and Jackie and me are still great friends, and she works at, I think, not Ann's Choice. I forget the name of the community home, but one of my best friends.
When you started One SEO with 4 people 14 years ago, did you ever expect to build such a behemoth?
No, when I started One SEO, I wanted to be the best digital marketer in the country. That's all I wanted. Me and Jolynn figured we have 10, 15 employees, and I was known as the best digital marketer. We'd make a great living. I had to change my mindset to get here. I really did. It's still a small business in the scheme of AT&T or Verizon or Google. It's still it's a department for them, right? But for the average company in Bucks County, I'd be willing to bet you I'm probably top 1% companies in Bucks County, Philadelphia area with 100 plus employees just in my one company here. So you have to change your mindset from being the best digital marketer, becoming a business person.
What are the top, let's say, 3 to 4 things that you've learned as an entrepreneur throughout these 14 years?
I mean, if I was being honest, I wouldn't even consider myself an entrepreneur when I started. I was more of a technician, right? Like I was a digital marketer. I knew SEO, PPC. I was a technician. So that was that. And then I became kind of like a manager / leader. And as we kept growing, and then I had to deal with banks, I had to deal with lawyers, no offense, Lawrence, right? Like all these things that you got to deal with, bankers and lawyers, and you're dealing with accountings. That's where the business and the entrepreneur side goes, when you start risking and taking debt on or not taking debt or all these other things you got to deal with. And that's where and buying other businesses. And that's where the entrepreneurial spirit came out.
So would you say that because of, your determination and the quality of service that you meant to provide, is that what helped you mold into the businessman that you became?
8 years ago is when I really made the mindset change. I was still dealing with so many businesses myself, and One SEO was giving me a great living. But I saw other people that, no offense, that I said, why not me? If I saw you making that kind of money, why couldn't I make that kind of money? Well, their whole thing was, I'm not going to be in the weeds. I'm not going to be the best technician. I'm going to be up here with the vision, with moving us forward, growing all these different things. And I started changing my mindset. So my ego had to take a step back. Someone said to me yesterday, Lance, you're checked out on digital marketing. I'm not checked out on digital marketing. I love digital marketing, but I had to be willing to take a step back and say, I got to go learn business like this now, so I can impact other businesses and grow and add more value to my family and other families also. I mean, we employ almost 400 people between all my companies now.
What's some advice you'd give young entrepreneurs or young businessmen or women starting up right now?
Well, one thing I would definitely do is surround yourself with great people and communicate your vision to them. And you got to have, I'm so lucky. People ask me how I do this. I've had people that have been with me for years. Like, I've only lost one leader, well, two leaders now. So 2 leaders in 14 years in business of all my companies. No one's resigned. I haven't had a fire. Listen, we have turnover in every one of my companies at entry level, mid positions. That'd be the first piece of advice I give anyone. Pay for experts. It was the biggest mistake I made. I hate to say this, I'd go try to find the cheapest lawyer back in the day. No offense, right before I met you, Lawrence, became friends. I try and find the cheapest account. I've been audited 3 times. Then I went to a real accounting firm. You saw how many losses I had in the legal world before you, Lawrence, right? Just me either suing people, whatever it may be. And I tell everyone this: if you're a business person, you've never been sued, and you're not a fucking business person. That's just not the reality. You haven't done enough business. You're going to run into bad people where you got to set an example. You might pay more, but you save so much more money in the long run, and the education you get by being around. And I hate to use the word shark. I consider Eric, I consider you a shark. If I ever had to go to trial, you're definitely on my team. You're the guy going after, you're a damn shark, right? So you pay for what you get, and you need experts, right? And you wind up costing yourself money. You think you're saving money by going with people that just aren't experts.
It's funny that you say that, because just yesterday I fielded a call that we got from a business owner, and the guy called because he's like, hey, listen, I want to incorporate. I'm a sole proprietor right now, but I want to incorporate. How do I do that? And what's it going to cost? And the first thing I asked him was like, have you talked to your accountant? And his response is, well, no. I'm like, well, do you have an accountant? And he goes, well, I have a guy who does my taxes. I'm like, stop. If you're talking about incorporating, the first thing that you want to do is switch from a guy who does your taxes to getting a CPA. And he asked me, he goes, well, how do I find a CPA? Do I just Google them? I'm like, well, I don't know if Googling is the right way of doing it. Do you have any other people that you're friends with who are in business, who have their own businesses? And he says, yeah. I'm like, why don't you talk to them and see who they use? And the moment that somebody comes back and says, here's my CPA, and I'm happy with them, that's who you want to go with.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. You get what you pay for. And these people, listen, you guys have been around. I mean, you guys have handled now. I mean, Lawrence, I don't know how many things, but you've done, 10 years, there hasn't been a time we have not been using you, right? So sometimes you're working on 2, 3 things. So it's been 10 years of constant work, right?
Yeah.
Get what you pay for, right? The customer service, the expertise, the right advice, right? And this is what I'll say about everyone. A lot of people look at things short term. The right lawyers, how I felt. You sent me to Obermeyer, right? You said, Lance, this is out of my thing here. I got a relationship with Obermeyer. This is who you need, right? Then you sent me to another attorney. That shows the sign of a confident attorney that knows what they're great at, to say, go here. That's what you need as a business person if you're going to surround yourself. Because what happens is a lot of lawyers would have took that case themselves, and we might not have got the result that we wanted. And you'll be like, this or that. You made sure I got the result that I needed every single time. And that's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for your accountant. You're looking for that with anyone you deal with, that they put you first, them second, and then everyone makes money.
Yeah, I mean, for long-term relationships, I think trust is important. And it's not a one and done type of thing, at least not for me, not for Eric. That's not how we operate. And obviously that's not how you operate as well. And I think that's why we all work together. But that's great advice for anybody going into business right now, is surround yourself with a team of experts, like you said, not just, who's got the cheapest rate, because you do get what you pay for, no matter what anybody says. People learn that lesson over and over again. I don't know why you would need to learn it twice, but they do. You do get what you pay for, and trust is very important. Like, because if you don't have trust in your team or within your team, then you don't have anything that's real. That's my experience. And I've learned that actually from watching you and the team that you surrounded yourself with, like you said, Jolynn, CJ, they're there. It's very important when you have people in your business, in your company, to treat it like it's their own. And when I deal with Jolynn and CJ, I don't feel any differently than when I'm dealing with you. I mean, the company is them. They are the company as well.
Well, I think success breeds success. I said to people all the time, lions hang out with lions. I mean, and that's not to be rude. Like, you're seldomly going to see a lion hanging out with a jackal or a sheep. Just not going to, I hate to put it in simple terms. Look around your own network of people. A lot of you are going to be similar opinions, similar thoughts, similar characters. I compete every day. I think you guys compete every day. This isn't your only business, the law firm, Lawrence and Eric. So you guys understand competition, growth, the growth of a P&L, scaling, marketing. I don't compete with anyone else. I only compete with myself, to be myself better. I never look at someone else and say they're more successful than me, get jealous. I'm actually happy for them. I'm like, go get what's yours.
You're obviously passionate about digital marketing. That's where you got started. You're not a roofer. You're not a painter. You're not an HVAC guy. You're not somewhat a shock IT guy, right? But
I'm wearing a shirt today.
But you're involved in all of these businesses and they're successful. Talk about that for a little bit, please.
Well, why don't we talk about the losses first?
Okay.
Companies I've lost too, right? Everyone, I think it's funny. Everyone goes on podcasts and they're like, I had all these winners and winners and winners. I had a lot of winners and I've had a few losers now. And I learned from the losers definitely what I'll never do again, right? But I bought a few companies now, well, one actually or two, and it just didn't pan out, right? So operator, it really comes down to the vision being aligned, both people seeing the right things and having those growth metrics that you hit. And inside of 90 to 120 days if it's going to work out. So you leave. Doesn't make it wrong by either person. It just means it's just not going to work for me. And I always say, if there's not enough meat on the bone, one of us got to go, right? You both got to make money. Not enough meat on the bone, one of us got to go.
Right.
But yeah, so I bought Shock IT 5 years ago now. It was Scott Bachmann and two other employees. We now have over 100 or close to 100 employees on that side. That's Shock IT. Shock's bigger than most people think. They don't realize that. We represent people like Amazon, car dealerships, you name it. So we had a lot of success. It's been great. I bought Dilling HVAC in 20 months. I sold that to Apex Private Equity for mid 8 figures. Got half of that. Very happy. Apex was a great private equity firm to deal with. We took that from $2 million in revenue to $15 million in 20 months. And I sold. I still own Dilling here in Pennsylvania. I own Cherry Roofing. I bought that January of this year. They were doing about $2 million last year. They did. Been around for 45 years. We're gonna do about $13 million this year in roofing. And then I bought Rathcab Painting. They were doing about $2 million. We're gonna do about $5 million this year. And we're in the process of buying a dumpster company and want to sell. So I buy operators, right? I buy good people. That's really what you're looking for. Someone that's gonna have your vision, implement it, work hard, be willing to follow the playbook, right? You got to follow the playbook. If you don't follow the playbook, you're not going to have success.
When you're jumping into a lot of these small businesses and blowing them up, these operators, and you're saying right away you come in and you kind of take control of the situation, you implement your systems and processes. What have you seen? Do they have operating agreements before you jump in?
The first thing I look at when I buy a business is the operator, right? Is he a hustler or is she a hustler, right? And can we move the needle together, right? If we can't, you're out, right? Advertising, then systems and processes. Like, I'm the first one to get I'm the only painting company in the whole entire country on Service Titan. It's an HVAC platform. I went to Ari and Tom Howard. I made the thing, listen, I'm a tech guy. I understand this. I want to use Service Titan for my roofing company and my painting company. They thought I was nuts. They vetted me, but I believe so much in their technology for that. So, and we pay a premium for that. So we have systems, processes, leadership, training, and then obviously you have to bring your partners in and have a price conversation with them on rebates and promotions and help you out. So once we get about that 8 to 9 step playbook in, the company just starts, and we're constantly training and looking to improve. I mean, the simplest thing like this, Lawrence, you'd be surprised. Most people think about this. When you bring a roofer to your house or an HVAC person, are they in a uniform? 90% of them?
No.
All my guys are. How hard is it to wear a uniform every day?
Right. Some minor adjustment change takes you to a different level, right?
Just they know you're legit. I mean, I didn't come up with anything special myself, to be honest with you, Lawrence. All I did was saw successful people, and I said, "Why not me?" I just duplicated I just started duplicating what they're doing. I talked to a friend of mine. I haven't talked to her in 15 years. She's happened to call me yesterday. She started a wedding and event business up in Maine 10 years ago, and she said, "Lance." She goes, "You told me when you started your business, all you did was just went and just started doing. You just started doing. You really weren't sure what you were doing, but you just took action." So I took action. She now has 16 employees. She makes a good living. Like, she's not like she said, I'm not setting the world on fire, but I have 16 employees. I make good money every year. And people ask me how I did it. And she's like, "I always repeat your line. I just did it. I just started doing something."
There's origin to this passion that you have, and you can sense the passion that you have in the way you speak, in what you say, in what you do on a daily basis. So there had to have been some triggering, not a specific event, but maybe it wasn't like a 1 day or 1 hour type of thing. It might have happened over time, but there must have been something that fired up this incredible drive. And tell us what it was. And when you met, I was always wondering about that, and I knew that it was coming from your childhood. So when you just mentioned that, that's when I jumped in. Tell us about that.
I guess I could put it this way, right? I grew up from foster care system, the system, right? I mean, you name it. I was always the have not, right? I want to put it that way. I was always the victim, have not. I go to Council Rock for high school, junior high. There's more money out there than God. No offense. I mean, this is right. And here you are wearing the same clothes. I didn't even know people like that existed till I moved there. I didn't know, because I remember back then people didn't have smartphones. You didn't have TVs in your home, right? I'm going to be 50 next year. So like, I didn't even know there was that kind of money. And then you come out there and you see that. And so you even get more anger at the world. Why not me? Why can't I have this? And I guess now I always say this, money's more, I never did drugs, but if I did, I can only equate money to cocaine. Money is more addicted than cocaine. It opens so many options, so many doors. It gives you options. And I know my children are never going to live the life I lived. And so probably that's why. I mean, if I would say my childhood, I mean, I grew up very, very poor, poorer than most people even know. And that's fine. I got no hard feelings towards my parents. My mom was a single mom that was abused. I mean, what was she going to do? 14 kids. I mean, my dad rolled. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm glad I grew up the way I did, because now I have that mentality. But yeah, I'm probably hungry because of that, truthfully, and I want more, and you can do more. And why would I not want to give my kids everything before I die? I'm going to be 50 next year. I told my wife, my next 20 to 30 years is all I have. If I hit 70, it's a gift, right? If I hit 80, it's a major gift. My next 20, 30 years are setting my 4 sons up. So they're born, just so they have a nice life when I'm gone. I mean, that's all my life will be now. So that's probably it, to be honest with you.
Speaking of your sons, Danielle, can you pull that picture up? All right.
There we go. My son Andrew got me.
Yeah. So as I was scrolling through Facebook a couple of days ago, I come across this picture and I'm like, no way. No way. And this was posted by your son on Facebook. And this is the title to this picture. It says, "Never thought I'd see the day. Guys getting softer. Happy Thanksgiving." Just seeing that picture, it was so the opposite of what I see you do every day. And everything that you do, it's just so impressive. And all these videos that I keep almost virtually on a daily basis, I see videos of you talking to hundreds of people sometimes and explaining what your passion is about and what you do. And then I see that picture come across, and it literally made me like, I did a double take. But then I realized that that's it. Like, that picture is the exact thing that you're preaching to all the people that you're talking to. This is it. It personifies you. This is who you are.
That was Thanksgiving Day, by the way. Just so everybody knows. And I didn't get off my couch. I got on at 1:30 in the afternoon. I didn't get off to 8:30 at night on Thanksgiving. Thankful to my wife making sure I could do that.
You've been working with our firm for at least 10 years now, probably that. Can you just tell the listeners, what are the different things we help you with? How do we advise you? What do you turn to us for?
See, this is the thing. You're my friend. So like, and people say you shouldn't do business with your friends. I'm like, I'd rather do business with my friends. That's just who I am. I became friends with you through the process of us doing business together, right? Like-minded people. I use you for everything, right? So for me, and some people might say, well, that's stupid. Well, I actually disagree, because once again, if I'm focusing on anything legal, I'm not making money on being in my businesses and helping them grow. I'm not a lawyer. So if we incorporate, I use you. If I'm buying a business, I use you. During due diligences, I use you. My LOIs, when I sell companies, I use you. Any HR issues, I use you. I mean, shit, man, I go to buy properties and I use you, Lawrence, to look at the contracts. I mean, like, I can't think of something that we don't use you for at this point. But we're great. I'm grateful to have you. It's a win for me to have you, Lawrence, on speed dial, and Eric, and your customer service. I think, listen, you're great lawyers. Obviously, you guys know the law, right? But really what separates you is you're not arrogant, you're not rude, you treat people like family, and you never talk down to us in any way. Whether you're dealing with CJ or Scott, you never make any of my people feel dumb. They come out of that meet and feel like you're doing the right thing, and they're in a better spot knowing where we're going to get things done. And that's what you want, because let's be honest, most people are petrified of lawyers and accountants, and because they don't know what you know. So I just don't know what you know, so I use you for everything. I'm man enough to admit that.
That makes sense. And obviously Eric and I, we appreciate, your business. We appreciate all of you guys, CJ, Jolynn. I feel bad because I didn't mention Bill Russell till this point, because Bill's the man. Bill is the man. Now, you surrounded yourself with a great team. You're lucky to have them. We appreciate all of the business that you send our way. And we're happy to see you succeed. So thank you for coming on the show. Like I said, to many more successes. And, like I said, for you to stay hungry, it's fascinating to watch, because I know personally you could retire tomorrow if you wanted to. The fact that you don't want to and you keep starting like you have zero is what's fascinating. So good for you.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much. Eric, Lawrence, I really do appreciate it. And I will tell your viewers this, and this will be a testimonial for you. I've been in some crazy pinches in business with Lawrence and Eric, and they've helped me out, and they've done their job, and they under promise and over deliver. If you're looking for great business attorneys, look no further. And I'm not saying that just because I'm friends. Think about this: to keep a client for 10 years as lawyers, I'm not being rude here, they're doing something right. And I'm not an easy client, trust me.
We know.